Finally, after about 3 weeks of complete and utter procrastination, I've finally gotten around to filming the Q&A video. Thank you all 107 of you for subscribing. I would have done it without you, but at least you give it purpose. I thought after recent events that it would be a little bit insensitive to read what I was going to read on Steam, so I thought I'd read something a bit more articulate. The Milkfic.
Alright, let's just get this over with. Ryan was kneeling in the bathtub, a towel under his knees and another under his hands. His head turned as he craned his neck to watch Brendan working. The younger boy swirled the spoon around the over-large bowl before tapping it against the rim and laying it on the counter. You know, it'll cool down a little once I get in the bag. But is that good? Brendan bent over next to the tub so Ryan could slowly dip his 2 fingers into the bowl, nodding once. It's fine. Brendan nodded again, reaching out to stroke Ryan's hair before standing back up and returning to the sink, where all of the equipment was spread out. The hook was already hanging from the shower curtain so Brendan could hang the bag as soon as it was full. Go ahead and take the plug out, baby. His voice was soft, gentle. And start with your fingers. It was the gentlest of their darker interludes. No name-calling or hair-pulling or punishments for no noises of pain. It hurt enough on its own, it was degrading enough on its own. Brendan didn't need to add anything to that. Brendan felt a tremor run through his body as he heard the soft moan coming out of the bathtub. Knew the other boy had just extracted them. He glanced up at the mirror, watching the boy set the glass plug on the edge of the tub next to the bottle of... Ryan picked up the bottle, desperate to show himself as he opened it, dripping some of the... It was cold to the initial touch, but warmed as his fingers moved. You're hot like that, baby, Brendan purred from the sink where the bag was nearly half full. Now go ahead. Ryan flushed warm from the compliment, his wrist sliding down along his waist, hip bone, the curve of his ass. Then the fingers were poised, resting again in his entrance before pressing in. He was already loose from the plug, and so it was an easy intrusion. He didn't even bother with more lubricant before pressing. Third fingering, moaning out right at the stretch, he started to hear the click from Brendan hanging the bag. Ready? Don't sound so disappointed, the boy... I'm not even going to try and say that word softly. You can keep your finger... He almost added a soft... Stopped himself. Brendan leaned down, reaching for the bottle of lubricant, letting himself hover over Ryan for a moment, his breath tickling the back of the neck. Just think about everything, he whispered before straightening back up, slicking the across. Oh, Ryan whined but slowly pulled his fingers out. He wasn't empty for longer than a few. Brendan's. Okay, I'm done. Why do I get asked to do this?
So here it is, the Q&A. I spent the last few weeks collecting your finest, most dank, most stalkish questions. Oh boy. Here we go. Question 1. What is your sexuality? Well, I mean, technically, straight, but as soon as the sniper draft walks in, it's like, girls? What girls? Question 2. Will you marry me? You must answer this question. Question 3. How long have you been friends with Penguin? Too long. Question 4. Why did you stop doing gaming videos and do filming instead? Well, one day I got bored, did Horse.exe, then revived my dead gaming channel, and then made it into ENT Productions. Also, Horse doesn't really like video games. Question 5. How much AdSense you got? Well, not that much, they're the stuff. It's like pennies at this point. Question 6. How is ENT Horse? He's clinically depressed. Question 7. How many hats do you have? 4. Technically 5. But I lost it. No. 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 Question 9! Can you read the Smut fanfic we wrote?
Penguin heard the door slam. James was home. What have you been doing, James? Are you okay? He asked curiously. James ran into the lounge and pushed Penguin into the wall, roughly connecting their lips. This felt wrong, but so right. James? Penguin panted. Penguin. I love you so much, he slurred. He's drunk, James, I could tell. But he has always felt this way too. Maybe this was his chance. I love you too, James, Penguin stuttered. Let's take this to the bedroom, baby. James smiled. Penguin nodded. James would probably regret this. James pushed Penguin up onto the wall and started to grind him. James felt his member become erect. Was he really getting aroused over his best friend? He was. James grabbed his shoulders and began thrusting his hips at him, whilst slamming their lips together. James pushed Penguin onto the bed. I top, baby, he mumbled into Penguin's ear. Okay, James. Penguin grind. James pulled Penguin's trousers down with his teeth. He dragged them down before carrying on grinding. Penguin tugged James' shirt before undoing the buttons. Soon they were all naked.
Well, it's quite imaginative, I suppose. Question 10. Well, it's more like a group of questions really, but who cares at this point. What was the first Top song you listened to? Like many others, the first one I listened to was Heathens, but it took me a while to actually get into it. So, before long, I went back and listened to Vessel, and then I went forward, listened to Blowface. One thing led to another, and I managed to find a way to get Regional at Best on my phone. Do you like Fall Out Boy? Yes, it's my favourite video game character. Do you cry over the G note? Oh, wrong note. Tyja or Joshua? Oh, Joshua. Also, you're the only person that rocks a fedora better than Patrick Stump. Thanks. Question 11. Have you ever been to the US? No, not really. It's not the sort of place I'd really want to go to be honest. I mean, sure, it sounds like a great country, but what are your thoughts on the new duct tape? What are your thoughts on the new duct tape? What are your thoughts on the new Doctor? Honestly, I'm probably about to offend a few people here. As long as she has good scripts, plays the part well, and doesn't end up pandering to feminazis, forcing gender equality down our throats and branding anyone as a sexist pig who doesn't like that. I'm just gonna have to, that brands everyone as being a sexist pig for not liking being constantly reminded gender equality is a real thing. Now, I probably just offended quite a few people, but hey, I'm only human. Also, I am aware that gender equality is a thing. I have been alive nearly 16 years and been aware of it for most of that. Question 12. What 3 cities do you want to visit and why? 1. Pyongyang. 2. Chernobyl. And 3. Constantinople. First two because I want to die, and the third one because I want to play Remove Kebab in the streets. Question 13. How many black people do you know? I don't know, Sam. Probably about the same amount of times you've made a good Jewish joke. Question 15. Who would you say inspires you to do what you do? Drugs. Whole lot of drugs. Honestly, probably memes, Tom Scar and BoJack Horseman. Well guys, that's all of the questions I've got now. No, wait, there's one more here somewhere. Here it is. What's your name or I'll unsub? I'm never gonna tell you. Well, I'd just like to say one last thank you to everyone that left a comment and everyone that subscribes in general and still watches my atrocious videos. But there's more coming and it gets better, I hope. I mean, good is subjective, I know, but hopefully you guys will like it. And I'll see you in the next video. Go. Now.